Hello everybody, welcome to Indigo Tarot Odyssey. How is everybody? Thanks everybody for your lovely comments. I just was reading over them and I appreciate you guys so much. So you guys, today we're going to use Into the Lonely Woods. I love the artwork in this. I find it so beautiful, especially in this When All Seems Ended. I love this like quiet brush nickel and cream and silvery white. It's so dreamy and beautiful. I just love it. Guys, I just want to share the sweet experience I had today because I got so nervous and I thought I was going to be trapped in Target for the rest of my life. So I go to pay my ticket and it devours the ticket entirely, you know, when you pay upstairs. And then I realized it says this machine does not accept credit cards, and I didn't have any cash, and I would have to like go back and make a purchase and then ask for cash back and do all this stuff. So then I see this little thing and it says press for the garage. So I press it and I'm explaining to the lady downstairs. I was like, listen, I put my ticket in the car in the ticket thing and it ate it, and I don't have cash on me, and if I leave and somebody else uses this, they in turn are going to pay for their card. And I just don't have a card anymore that says how long I parked or anything like that. And right when I was saying this, I see this dollar bill like right in my periphery, and this young girl is handing me $1, and she's like, that's happened to me before. And she's like, here you go. And I was just so grateful because I didn't know I didn't want to live at Target. And I didn't know what was going on. I thought that was so utterly sweet. And the weird thing is that's like something I would do without a second thought, you know, if somebody was next to me, and I just thought that was so awesome, so sweet and so thoughtful. So it just really kind of made my day. So let's talk about this When All Seems Ended. In the book, it's so lovely. It talks about how we sculpt our lives until its shape is really familiar, and we create all these patterns and stories and rituals around all these shapes, and they all make up these beautiful moments within our day, and we have a whole world. Yet sometimes that world, really not through a decision that we've made, comes to an ending. You know, it is that moment for you. All that once was is now soon to be the past. It can be habits, it can be people, things that are meant to be left behind. And sometimes we mourn that, you know, it could have been an easier way or a more integrated thing. It's the comfort zone. You know, it is hard to let go of those comfort zones, but that's how we learn and grow. And we're still standing, right? That kingdom that was once is gone. It could think of throughout the last decade, the people that have come into your life through work or whatever, right? And they slowly kind of fade into the distance. I remember in the beginning of my journey of becoming a tarot reader over here, that I had such wild and meaningful, I still do, discussions. But I remember the groups of people, and some of them, you know, were just so wild and interesting. And at that time, they were in a tumultuous, really kind of, in some aspects too, dangerous like lifestyle. And it is wild when I speak to them today how, you know, they now have their own businesses. They've got out of broken marriages or abusive relationships. And it's just like, wow, you know, what if they just accepted this misbehavior of others or this unhappy phase and they just let it pass? Same for me. I used to work for people that would like totally take advantage of my willingness to cover everybody's kind of shifts when they were off and do all of this stuff. And you get maladjusted and you don't really know what's wrong because that becomes the normal, right? I've had a lot of people say when they look back at certain jobs and environments they were in the moment, it seemed feasible, it seemed okay. And then looking back as their standards rose and their boundaries got in place, they were like, oh, heck no, you know, that needs to go. You know, every living thing is in flux and change. And beneath the surface, at a deep level, the world keeps moving through her cycles to bring us more abundance, to help us grow, to evolve. I feel like this card is always about evolution, right? So take a minute to look at once was and let it go, give it honor, say goodbye, and then slowly walk into this mysterious unknown, which holds what will become in the beautiful future. And, you know, we don't need to lament or have a tug of war with it. The universe knows when we need to just give up the game, you know, like that's enough of this behavior or this person or this environment. We're meant to evolve. We're meant to have wonderful things come in. We have to create a healthy void, which I love, which brings us to this beautiful between I want to go to between two worlds, and then we'll go into, actually, let's go into your arms. So it says, for in the book, it talks about how soon this will be a homecoming, a time for enrichment, of contentment, of goodness. That makes me happy just hearing those words, enrichment and contentment. There's nothing like that, right? There will be kin, a soul family to whom you know you belong, and likewise them to you. So the solitude you've experienced means you have more to share now, more than ever before. You didn't forget who you were in those lonely times. You became who you were meant to become next, and here you are. And because of that, here they are, the friends, the companions who see you, who understand you, who accept you, who love you, and they reach for you in the morning and kiss you and adore you. And it's sort of needed to take this shape to become this beautiful life. And it is, like the prior card, as we evolve, we need to bring in brighter, better, more upscale people, places, and things for ourselves, because we recognize that, we are deserving of this really good, healthy energy. So we create space for it, and then those people come in for us, all the love, all the care, and people that are seeking similar things that we are. If you're going through a lovely enlightened stage and learning new things about possibilities and prosperity, others that are also seeking that as well. So that brings us to the between two worlds. And this talks about, as we're moving and progressing, sometimes the gulf between the old world and the world that's coming in for us feels like a valley, a huge chasm, and it doesn't feel possible to bridge that gap to somehow make it to that other side, right? So for a while we can slump, we go into ourselves, we can go into denial, we can go into slightly destructible ways or patterns, and just at this point, a sign appears, right? The scent of flowers, birds, the color of something gives birth to hope in your heart, and suddenly the gap doesn't seem like it's there anymore. The waters that we have to cross aren't so deep, things don't feel dangerous or impossible, and then in a shorter while than you possibly think, the old and the new are bridged, and you'll walk into that next life within this lifetime very quickly. It's phases, and that's the thing about evolution. We can feel stuck. I know that some days, this is the weird thing, some days if I just get too much in my head, and I think of the future fraught with dangers. We all go in that, right? Like if we watch the wrong show or see something on the news, we have that moment. So then it's like I go into like this mental decline where I don't want to like craft and see the bright, the beautiful, the wonderful. I'm just choosing, my mind or my ego gets stuck in there just for a moment. Those are very long days. And I all of a sudden feel like heavier. So what I do when I recognize that's happening, I'm like, that's a reality that we can look through that lens and that perspective, or we can see all the cues and clues and the beauty and all of the choices that we are given. Being these wonderful beings that are sentient, we can connect to the things that help us grow, that bring us light, that bring us buoyancy. For me, right away, I tap into something humorous or laughter, something beautiful and artistic, and I snap out of that revelry, and I'm like, oh, and then it's like, boing, I can all of a sudden, grow those wings, go over and keep that kind of gloomy me company and be like, this is bull. This is a moment in time where you're thinking these thoughts. And if you let those thoughts become a mood, they can honestly become your reality. So just snap out of the reverie. You've had a moment, of course, and we'll all do it. We'll have that little roller coaster, but this is thinking good thoughts, thinking of breath and width and calm and and moments to do whatever we want. And I feel like creative souls, especially, I know this to be particularly true for myself. We always are striving. We're striving for that really cool, creation that we're going to make. And I just get excited. I'll have the materials in front of me. It doesn't matter if it's a new deck. It doesn't matter if it's a whole bunch of new beads, if it's leather, whatever it is. I get all excited about the possibilities, the prospects, and just being engrossed in that energy. I lose time. It's relaxing. I float, come out with these colors and spectrums and wonderful things. And then I'm just like, what else can we create? That type of energy. And I love this. I love this so much, because I feel like, especially now that the seasons are changing, like today, boom, dropped 20 degrees. We were like in the 60s as opposed to the 80s. And it was like rainy, and I felt like, whoa, this is like fall. And I do love fall. I feel like I feel like there's not any kind of oppressive heat. I love to walk in this weather. I like to see leaves already falling outside my window, all of that. But I feel like when seasons change, it's a great, rich time to install some change in our life, whatever it may be, to that's going to help us grow. Expansive, knowing, clarity, getting to that place of power, some spaciousness, grace, truth, shifting towards our destiny in a really beautiful, light way. Like, hey, I am going to merge and invite this new expressiveness in, and any kind of change. It's really good. I love doing it at the beginning of months. I love doing it at the beginning of new moon cycles. I love doing it, in the change of season. So you could write down one thing, an affirmation that you want to bring in this change of season. What is it, right? And mine is definitely creative expansion. I'd love for you guys to comment down below, like what's one sentence or a couple of words that would describe something that you're seeking in this new season. I definitely creative expansion. I'm really excited about, what can come, because it's like the holiday season. Everybody's already decorating, getting ready for Halloween stuff. It's a really, really wonderful time. So I'm excited for that. So that's what you're meant to hear today. I hope everybody had a great weekend and you're enjoying this cooler weather. It's so, so beautiful. So love and light, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.